Yes. So before we go forward, I would like to introduce the team members of the high school. And I would like to get started with the head of the high school, which is, thank you, Rinsi, which is Mr. D. N. Ramakrishnappa. And Mr. Appa, as we call him, he is here with us this year full time, but his association with Acharya Ji goes way back, to 20 plus years. He's been working with Acharya Ji on a very close level at various projects that they have worked together. And he's also been associated with Lead India Bharat Ratna School since the inception of the school. And Appa sir has three masters. He has a master's degree in physics, he has a master's degree in psychology, and also in education. We welcome Appa sir to the team and to the LIBR family on a formal note, though you are always a part of this, but as you're taking a new role here as the head of high school, we wish you all the best. And we hope that under your leadership, things will progress for the best of the school and students. Moving forward. Yes, that's me, and I am the head for pre-primary to grade 5, and I'm also the school counselor and the special educator. So any matters pertaining to students of pre-primary to grade 5, you can contact me directly, and I'm also the school counselor. So if you have any issues, especially the age group that we are going to talk about this evening, that is students of grade 6 to 10, there might be quite an issue that parents deal with for children of this age group. So if there's any concerns you just want to share, and get a little thought and insight into how can those issues be handled, feel free to reach out to me. Similarly, if you feel like your child is having some learning difficulties, you suspect that your child is not able to understand a certain subject in the manner that he or she should, kindly reach out to me as well for that. Let's move on. Yes, so here we have some familiar faces for all of you. One is Rinsi, and Rinsi is the head of the English department, and she is also the in charge for co-curricular and extracurricular activities, and she is the main coordinator for classes from 6 to 8. So if I have to share a little about Rinsi, you would all be we all begin our day with Rinsi's voice, actually, because Rinsi conducts the assembly every single morning. And Rinsi is a very friendly, warm human being. She's very honest. She is committed to her work. She's open to learning, and she's also a multitasker. I think her commitment to teaching English language and her openness to learning various strategies to teach English and to provide differentiated instruction to children is something that is one of her strengths. So I congratulate Rinsi on a new role, and we look forward to more of your contributions at that level. And we also have Kanakadurga Rao sir. Kanakadurga Rao sir is the head of Maths and Science department. And Rao sir is also the coordinator for 9th and 10th. So Rao sir has a lot of experience in preparing children to appear for the board exams. That is one of his strengths, and math is his passion. It's very surprising that Rao sir had a government job in the forest department, but he chose to continue with being a math teacher. So that math is at the center of his heart, and he's a very warm and welcoming person. I don't think I've ever seen him get mad at people, though the situation might be very challenging, but he's always there with a smile and always willing to see how we can better situations. So congratulations to Rinsi and to Rao sir, and let's move on. Yes, I would like to introduce to you some of the teachers of grade 6. The first that I would like to introduce is Ms. Sheba. Ms. Sheba has joined us this year, and Sheba Christopher, she's the math teacher for grade 4, 5, and 6. So Sheba and I have a connection of more than 6-7 years now. So Sheba and I worked together in Arizona in United States. We worked in the same school, and Shiva is a very high performing teacher there among all the teachers that were the staff at our school. So her subject, math, was always on the top, and she's known for getting good results from students. So she's strict, yet she's also loving, and her love for her children and for math comes across through whatever she does. So we welcome Shiva. She just returned from the US, and I'm glad that she accepted us and choose to work with LIBR. We welcome Shiva on behalf of LIBR. Next we have is Lavanya. You all have seen Lavanya last year, and I'm so thankful for Lavanya being here as part of Lead India Bharat Ratna School. If I have to say that one of the teachers that I can depend outrightly without any questions would be Lavanya, because she's a very faithful person at a personal level, very committed to her work. And when it comes to a subject knowledge, she has grammar concepts very strong, very, very strong. She knows her content very well. And I've never seen her waste a single minute with children. I think she's always on top of things, and she ensures that children learn what they're supposed to learn. So Lavanya is going to be the English language teacher for 5th and 6th grade, and she's also the social studies teacher for grade 3 and 4. Moving forward is Beatrice. Beatrice is another wonderful addition to LIBR this year. Beatrice joined our school. She actually came to our school looking for a school for her own 2 sons. And I'm glad that she said yes to joining as a teacher in our school. Beatrice will be the English language teacher for grade 3 and 4, and she's the social studies teacher for grade 5 and 6. And Beatrice is very, very loving, and what is one of her strengths is the classroom management skills. I think she's extremely good with children. She knows how to approach them. She's respectful with kids, and she lays down very clear expectations and spends enough time in letting children know what her expectations are from them. So I welcome all these teachers and I wish them all the best. And I request Rincy to go forward and introduce the rest of the high school teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Maria ma'am, for this wonderful introduction. Good evening, all. At the onset, I would like to thank the school management for giving me such an opportunity to lead the session. As you have seen the leaders of the team, it's a strong team with Ramakrishna sir, Maria ma'am, and Rao sir supporting me and all the team members. No doubt this would be an efficient and resourceful people all leading together for this fruitful year. We look forward for a great year, wonderful year. Now moving on to the introduction of teachers, grade 6, Vasanta ma'am, who takes biological science, would be the class teacher of grade 6. Talking about Vasanta ma'am, she always carries a smile on her face. She's a pleasant person and loves teaching children, especially she enjoys teaching children. And she would be taking grade 6 science, especially the biological science. And the physical science will be dealt by Kalpana ma'am. So from grade 6 onwards, we have the division of biological science and the physical science. Moving forward, grade 7, Rincy, myself, I will be the class teacher. I will be handling grade 6, grade 7, and grade 8, grade 9, and 10 English language. Moving forward, we have Sucharita ma'am, who's a very, she has joined us this year. She has she talk about her? She has an experience of about 27 years, and it's indeed privileged that she is a part of Lead India Bharat Ratna School now. So we welcome you, ma'am, and at the same time, we have her teaching from grade 7 to grade 10 social science. Okay, then moving grade 9, class teacher would be Mrs. Kalpana, who will be handling physical science. Talking about Kalpana ma'am, she is very passionate about teaching and believes that teaching is a joyous process of learning. From grade 6 upwards till grade 10, Kalpana ma'am will be dealing with physical science, and Vasanta ma'am will be dealing with the biological science. Yeah, our Rao sir, so ma'am has well introduced him. Yes, he is so involved into teaching that he has a strong goal to empower children to be successful leaders, learners. So he's the one who is the person who takes forward math for high school, especially for the grade 7 to grade 10. So he's very passionate about teaching, and we look forward for a great year with all these team. Moving on to the languages, we have languages equally considered important in Lead India Bharat Ratna School. We have, as a Hindi faculty, we have Nirupama Singh, who comes with almost 14 years of experience. And we also have Nagasirisha ma'am, who comes with almost 11 years of experience in Telugu. So these are the teachers who will be handling the academic classes from grade 6 to grade 10. We also have extracurricular activities at our school. As you know, earlier it was only Saturday devoted, but this year we have spread it out across the timetable from Monday to Saturday. So this is Mrs. Ambika Franklin, who has a rich creative ideas and tries to explore a variety of art and craft ideas. So indeed, it's a great pleasure to have her with us, who will enhance her creativity skills of us and our children. So she will be dealing with 6th, 7th, and 8th art and craft. And then we have our own physical education teacher, Mr. Shailendra sir, who will be dealing with the physical education for the whole school, especially from grade 6 to grade 10. So that was the introduction of the whole team, as the whole team driving the high school, I should say, grade 6 to grade 10. As we all know, the online platform is all set. And you know, last year, as ma'am has introduced in the beginning itself, it was a unique year. The whole educational sector got a shifting point from physical teaching to virtual mode. And it was for the first time we all teachers were experiencing so, and it was a drastic change, adopting all these technologies, trying with new apps, and then which was included in the learning process. When I should say we are proud, or we are blessed, or we are glad, I should say, when last year at this point, when most of the schools were wondering how to go about with the new session, when the shutdown or the lockdown was there, we at Lead India Bharat, we went well ahead. We tried to connect with the students and kept them engaged throughout. It was a new experience for them as well as us. We tried to find out new ways of teaching. Yeah, there may be glitches, but I believe we tried our best to reach out to students and to reach out the concepts to them. So I'm indeed proud to be a part of this team. That was the team members. Let's look into what is there in store for academics. So here's a bird's eye view on what is in store with the academics. Let's move on to the languages first. As we know, language is an integral part of any culture, and to communicate with each other, we need language. We need to build relationships, we need languages. So language is considered an important place, and especially when it comes to English. As we all know, English is a global language, and we all prefer to communicate and we want to learn English. And if you look at our syllabus, we are looking into the basic skills. So the thing is, we are trying to enhance the 4 skills, LSRW. Now, what is LSRW? L stands for listening, S stands for speaking, R for reading, and W for writing. So these 4 skills together compile any language. As coming on to English, we have chosen Macmillan as our publishers, which is one of the global publishers, which they demand is called global publisher with a local presence. This book is well knitted to cater the needs of our children. Let it be knowledge or let it be skills. If you have gone through those books, you see separate sections where vocabulary, reading, animation, listening skills, all are given importance. So when we have taken such a resource, naturally it comes with a digital content, and we expected to deliver that. So hopefully we find that we try to use the best and try to present all these 4 skills to our children, and we enhance that to them. Now, another focus is the pronunciation, phonetics. If you have observed, the assembly begins with a vocabulary. So every day a child is learning a new word along with its meaning, a sentence, and the way it is pronounced. Moreover, if you go to the class, we are trying to use a digital content where the slang doesn't matter for the teacher. In fact, if the child has gone wrong, he or she can use a digital content to check his pronunciation, whether it's right or wrong. Moreover, in our day-to-day communication, in our classes, we try to speak English. That is how we try to build up a language. And if ever we go wrong, we just go to the Google and we also check with the pronunciation. So in that way, we always focus on pronunciation, vocabulary, and all the digital content. Now moving on to the one more vocabulary, a new thing what we are going to introduce this year is a list of words will be presented to the child every week beginning. So preferably Monday, a list of words will be given. The child has to learn it. The teacher will be trying to give out the word, its meaning, preferably a sentence where it is used, and the pronunciation. The child tries to learn it, and thus by a weekend he learns minimum 7 to 8 words. So in a way, a term, a year, we find that the child will have a whole lot of words in his vocabulary bank. This is only to build up his vocabulary skills and the way he tries to use in his day-to-day communication. Spell bee is yet another thing we would like to introduce. Yeah, we are going to introduce this here, that, through as a competition part. Next is a reading log. Importance of reading cannot be overlooked. But the thing is, most of us, either we don't have the patience to read or we don't find time to read. And that is inherited to our children. The thing is, when that we don't read, our children are least bothered about reading. So last year, if you remember, we had started a reading log towards the month of January, February. So where the child would read and keep a track of what he has read. We would like to start that at the very beginning of the year and continue this good practice, because reading is a good practice. And as we do exercise for our body, reading is good for our mind. And moreover, we remember the very famous quote, today a reader, tomorrow a leader. We would like all our young learners to be leaders by reading today. Yeah, that was about English. When it comes to Hindi and Telugu, yes, we are using the textbooks prescribed by CBSE board for Hindi, and for Telugu, it is the Telangana board, which is recommended by the Telangana board. Yeah, next is the math and science skills. Math and science can be called as a core subjects in the high school. Most of the concepts for the future courses that the child opts is based on these score, or what the score he takes in these subjects. So the concepts needs to be delivered in such a way that it is interesting and the child should understand and be able to do it independently. So the teaching over here would be concept based. Maybe as once in a while we do with activity based, but when it comes to a high school, we go with the concept based learning and teaching. Now, if the child faces, we find that math is tough, science is tough, children complain with that. But here we have an opportunity, if the child faces a difficulty to understand the concept delivered in a regular class, he or she can ask a doubt then and there. But still, yet we have another opportunity. We are open to clear their doubts from 2 o'clock to 2:40 p.m. every day through Teams. So the child is free to ask his doubts and clarify his doubts and try to do his homework. This is basically to help the child. Gradually, we would also like to add on a practice session for board classes and give practices for various competitive exams during the slot allotted. There are a lot of changes happening around us, and we need to be knowing about all these changes. That is why current affairs matters a lot. But unfortunately, a child is not interested or doesn't bother to know about the current affairs, which is very important in any of the competitive exams. If you just have a look, you find that in any competitive exams, current affairs plays a vital role. To initiate that interest in the child, so we have decided at the high school that the science and the social faculty will be devoting their 5 minutes of their period to discuss about the current affairs, what the things have happened around the world. This is to just create an awareness among the children. It's not only to just create awareness, but also to retain that and to, check. So based on that, a monthly quiz will be conducted. Quiz can be in the form of quizzes, forms, or any other app. So these are the things what we social studies. Just to remind, social studies we follow the CBSE books. Prescribed by the CBSE board, and science we follow the Macmillans. Moving forward, the assessments. With regard to the assessment, a child is always assessed what he learned through assessments. Now, assessments can be through observations or interactions in the classroom. Now, though it's virtual classroom, how we will be wondering how. Yes, it depends on the regularity, the attention, and the promptness in answering while interacting in the class. So these all are considered and they are part of assessments in high school. Another one part of assessment is a homework. Homeworks are given according to the homework schedule, and it is posted through Microsoft Teams assignments. It can be submitted back also through assignments where you have to hand in or turn in. So this is how. And this year we also have tried to put up a reminder through WhatsApp messages in the WhatsApp class message groups, just like what is the assignment, what is a homework or such. This is just to remind the child and to do it. Request all the children to be prompt and punctual to do the homework and submit it on time, because that is also a part of your assessment. Another thing is our projects. You may be you may be having seen that, and you might have seen the children working on the integrated project this vacation. Yeah, this was one of the project which we gave during the holidays. Though it was holiday, children tried to work on it, and I'm happy, I'm pleased that many of the children came up with wonderful project. So integrated project was for the first time we tried to decide with a theme and different tasks in various subjects. And the child has to compile it together and submit. So many of them tried to do their best and submitted their work. We always entertain children to submit it through the official means. So maybe there are few issues with that. However, when tomorrow the classes will start, we will try to look into it. But however, the projects are also one of the ways to assess the child. So term 1 was through the integrated project, which was given as a holiday homework. Next part of the project would be the art integration project. Art integration project is something what CBSE introduced just to have a link between academics and the art and to make learning enjoyable. In this, every state is given an associate state or a partner state. So the work, the task, what we need to do is related to that state. So last year it was Haryana, and many of our children, especially the grade 10 students, did wonderful projects on Haryana, and they submitted. It was wonderful. It was, though virtually, they did it a wonderful job. And so this year we are expecting CBSE to be the state, and then we start working on the integration project. So that will be preferably in term 2. Now you see the next bullet saying that grade 6 to 8 will be having terms 1, 2, and 3, whereas grades 9 and 10 will be having only term 1 and 2. You may be wondering, why is it so? Yes, grade 6 to 8 is the classes where the concepts, the fundamental concepts are introduced for the first time. So this needs to be brushed up very often. So the more you try to reiterate this concept, the child remembers it. So the 3 terms is very well designed for the child to recap it, and in this at least 2 times the child is assessed with those those topics. When we consider all these subjects like math, science, and socials, you see the topics are time and again repeated. So if the child gets foundation in grade 6 to 8, then he is fit for appearing the boards grade 9 and 10. So, but in grade 9 and 10, we are following the format recommended by CBSE. So it is only 2 terms. So this is the way how we are assessing. Grade 6 to 10 will be assessed through internals, which include your notebook submission, your regularity to class, your punctuality, your subject enrichment, which includes ASL. ASL is nothing but assessment of speaking and listening, which comes in languages. And project-based learning, which comes in the science and math and lab things. Integrated project is also homework, a part of internals, and art integration project also. So then grade 6 to 8 will have 3 terms. And coming to grade 9 and 10, again, the internals, but whereas only difference is they are divided into 2 terms. Hope that is clear. So let's now move on to beyond academics. As we know, Lead India Bharat schools give equal importance to academics and extracurricular activities. Though it was online last year, we tried to incorporate extracurricular activities within the timetable, but that was Saturdays. But this year, we ensured that it will be spread across throughout the timetable. So we are giving importance to physical education. We are giving importance to art and craft. And the new things which have come up as life skills and moral science. Just to remind, art and craft would be only for grade 6 to 8. The teacher gives the materials required prior and the child should be ready with all those stuff for the regular class. So next, coming to the life skills. This is nothing, this is what if most of us want, like when we are as a student, we would practice this at school. But moving forward, we found that this is slowly, eliminated from the curriculum. But however, if you see, these are the important things, what makes a person to live, or you need to know in life. So that is how we have tried to introduce life skills in our curriculum. So life skills are nothing but it's not a great thing, but what we do daily, but most of the children try or avoid doing it, try not to do or avoid doing it. It's nothing but how to fold clothes, chopping the vegetables or peeling it, and how organizing the closet or stitching or tacking kind of thing, where the child is prepared for his life. That is what we think about the life skills alone. Now, moral science. Moral science is yet another topic. Though we talk about those great values in us, we boast about it, but we hardly use that. We see an accident, we ignore it and go. Where is the humanity within us? So we need to incorporate that in our children. So moral science is nothing but through stories, through activities, we try to spread the message of each human values, which every individual as a person should need about. Now, if you see when the COVID attack, many of them, we try to isolate people, but there the person is trying to be depressed. So in that case, a word of love, a spread of hope could help him or her a lot. So these are the things what a child in his future life would like to have and should have. So that is a such a small training given at a school. So that was about academics and beyond academics. Now some a general information. As we all know, last year was a unique year, a year of uncertainty. And again, I say, we at LIBR started to adapt to this online mode before any well-established schools where they tried or they were in a dilemma, but we started it earlier. Earlier, we used Zoom platform, but then because of security and for good reasons, we shifted to Microsoft Teams. So this year also, we will be having our online classes through Microsoft Teams. The school will reopen after the summer break on 14th of June, that is tomorrow, for grades 1 to 10. Pre-primary will reopen on 15th of June, that is Tuesday. So I repeat, school reopens tomorrow. There is a slight change in the timings of the assembly. Earlier assembly used to happen at 8:40 a.m. Right now, we start at 8:30. But the regular classes begin only at 9 o'clock. So then, soon after the assembly, we have a small gap where the child gets ready for the regular classes. Every class is of 40 minutes and the class will run till 1:10 p.m. for classes 6 to 10. After that will be the lunch break. Follow that, we will have the doubt clarification if our the child demands. As informed earlier, the child is not able to understand a concept or he was not able to do his homework, he can connect to the teacher during that time, 2 o'clock to 2:40, that too through Teams. We have Saturday classes, which was not there last year for most of the classes except for 9th and 10th. So this year we had to have, because of time constraint of completion of portions, all that. So to fit in all the syllabus, everything, we need to have Saturday classes. So, but Saturdays we will have only 4 classes, that is 9 o'clock to 12:20. Now, as we are going to begin our classes tomorrow, I request all of you to reboot your system. It's long time that we have not used Teams, and so we need to reboot the system. And to my knowledge, the calendar is filled with your timetable. Go to the calendar and check for the classes. And since you all are, it is mandatory to children to attend the assembly at 8 or 8:30, and then have a break. If you do not have your breakfast, kindly have it and get ready for your class by 9. When I say get ready for the class, we need to get with the device, with the books, everything. You should be ready. Preferably textbooks and notebooks should be with you. I would prefer to keep a bag for everyone where every books are deposited in that, and you take according to the periods. Addition to that, a rough book should be kept for classes 6 to 10 for writing the running notes or any homework as such. If you would like to write, if the teacher gave a new word, you could write over it. So keep a rough book. And in fact, during language classes, I would prefer a dictionary too. A very important to everyone, important point, I would say, we request our students and parents not to share the child's login credentials to anyone else. It was seen in our last year that children share their login details and another child joins in his or her name, which I personally believe is not the right manner. And we strongly discourage this. So again and again, I repeat, do not share your child's login credentials with anyone in the campus or outside. If the child has left the school, also don't do that. That's not a right behavior. Well, we request all the parents to give us a support by monitoring the child. If it's a physical class, we would go around and we would look into what the child was doing. But in virtual classes, there are few which say we couldn't monitor the child what is doing behind the screen. So we humbly try to ask your help to just check on what the child is doing. It seems the child is in front of the system, but at times his mind wanders, or he is multitasking, chatting, he's playing with the mobile or playing with the book. So humble request is, at regular times, kindly come and check what the child is doing. Is the audio heard, or the video is seen? Is he attentive in the class? So this request, we request all the parents to kindly support us with this. Especially grade 9 and 10 students turn off their cameras, so which is not so good practice. Request all the parents to kindly ensure that the device is fit with the camera and also has sufficient charge for it, and the camera is turned on. We also request your support when we give some assignments, because most of the times, if we give an assignment in the form of video or making a project kind of thing, we request your help in recording it and sending to us. Last year, we are very grateful that most of the parents helped us in doing this. But to point out few, that it's like many a times the video is blurred or it's shaking. It is of not so good quality. So as a parent, if you could kindly help the child record the video in a stable mode and find out the good lightings. Preferably natural lightings are very good. But if ever you find you're recording in a room, ensure there is sufficient light which falls onto the face, and the presenter is clearly visible with not much of background disturbances or a vague background kind of thing. And also ensure that the attire what you have put on should also be good enough. Preferably school uniform is good. If ever you don't have a school uniform, try to put on a very simple formal wear so that it looks good. The quality of the video we demand, at times we try to put in the social media and we don't want any of us to be offended with that. So kindly look into this matter and we request our parents to support. Yeah, most of us have supported earlier, but still we require that. Now regarding the parent communication, since it's online mode, most of the communications happen through the WhatsApp mode. The thing is, we request all of you to go through the messages very often. Because most of the times as informed earlier, like about the reading skills, either we don't have the practice to read or we clearly keep it aside. So the thing is, the child also has come into that practice and they don't look into the matter, and most of the times the instructions are not clear or the deadline is not met. So many things like that. So kindly look into the WhatsApp messages for the parent communication. And if ever there is any issues with login of the online platform like Microsoft Teams or fee related issues, kindly contact the office number. In case we find that the contact or the office number is engaged or cannot be contacted, then you can only then you just contact to the teacher, because most of the times we find the teacher is engaged in the class and tend to get up disturbed with these calls. So humble request, if ever there is such issue, get it into notice of the office. Only then if there is no response, contact the class teacher. Regarding academic issues, you're free to call the teacher or the subject teacher, but we always respect the private space, and also we are mindful about their families. So kindly make a habit to engage, ask the doubts or the concerns about the subject to the respective teacher from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. So that we are we all set for that academic delivery and we are engaged into it. If it's at odd times, maybe the response will be not so apt according to you. So that would be prefer 1:30 to 3:30. Again, I remind children, if ever you have any doubt, you want to ask your subject teacher or your class teacher, kindly contact from 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. only. Again, same thing, whether the WhatsApp messages goes, kindly read it carefully and follow the instructions. Another way to reach out with you with the academics is the academic planner. Most of you might have observed, yesterday we had shared the academic planner for the month of June, July, and August. So this academic planner is nothing but the overview of what is happening around in these 3 months. So it gives you an idea of what the child or what concept the child is learning. So we will send it thrice in a year. That is, first one we have sent already yesterday. And next we will send it for the month of September, October, and November. And then with December, Jan, and Feb, which will have the activities, the lessons all planned for that whole slot. Another additional thing is high school will send weekly planner. That is, every weekend we will be sending what is going to happen in the upcoming week in every subject. So if you refer the timetable and the weekly planner, it goes matching. So the child will come to know what the teacher is going to do in that particular period. And then the student need to get ready accordingly with the books or the activities or the homework as such. If you see, our academic year began in the month of March, but March we devoted time for retreating all those concepts, basic concepts. In English was grammar, in math it was the basic foundation, all those. And slowly, gradually in the month of April, we started with only one lesson. This was all considering about the textbook. Most parents did not buy or couldn't access all those. But right now, from tomorrow, we are going to start with the textbooks. For those who have not procured the textbooks, kindly go to the bookstore. The address was given to you a long time ago, but again, it is Navya Bookstore, Rampalli X Road. Kindly approach and get the books. If ever you want the address, you can contact the school office number. So it is mandatory for every child to have the textbooks along during online classes also. Here are a few do's and don'ts of online classes. Moving on to do's first. There is no choice for a child to avoid any classes. So it becomes mandatory for the child to log in into every class daily. He can't be saying that it is a language class, I don't know Telugu. He can't be avoiding that. No, he has to enter into all the classes and keep him updated about what the teacher is teaching. So it becomes a compulsory thing or a mandatory thing. So there's no choice, and the child has to enter into all the classes from 9 o'clock to 1:10. And as we enter, we should arrive on time and get set with all the required materials according to the subject. Once the class starts, going and getting a book, pen, eraser, that is not permitted. So I preferably request you to keep your bag ready with all your books and stuff ready near your gadget. Now, coming to virtual classes, yeah, last year we all thought that it was taken for granted. Why virtual classes? What is the use of that? After all, it's an online class. Why should we need that? But what we'll understand is, what we come to know from last year's experience is, we have come to a stage where the whole world is moving around remotely. Let it be from the online, to the IT professionals, to the schools, or any other meetings, to the prayer meetings, everything goes online. So we can't be kept behind saying that, no, my child will not attend online classes. So humble request to all the parents, kindly keep that mindset aside. You are trying to only benefit your child entering into virtual classes. You need to prepare the child for the competitive world, or your child is a loser, I should say. Because when the world is moving forward, we try to pull back the child saying, oh, it's an online class after all, you stay at home. But what happens to the child? The child is left up missing with all those concepts taught in 1 year or 2 years, which is used for his future. Imagine a child climbing a ladder with all the steps. He can quickly go up. But if you miss out 2-3 steps, yeah, the child can go. He can struggle and go. But you see them pathetic. You see the child struggling to reach the heights. The same thing happens over here. You find the child is not able to cope up with others, and he is left back, which you will have to regret later. So humble request to all the parents, don't take virtual classes for granted. And if ever there is something missed, we are there to help as teachers. So kindly request everyone to attend virtual classes. While attending the class, we also request the child to well groom and dress properly. Preferably putting on the school uniform is good, but it's not mandatory. If ever there is no school uniform, try to dress in good formal dress and attend the class. Kindly avoid pajamas or nightwear, sleeveless, which is not so good for the classes. The child should be taught to turn on the mic and off the mic regularly. So muting and unmuting is a process which each one of us should know as a basic etiquette of virtual classes. There's a lot of background things happening around, and the mic is unmute. So it disturbs the class and the teacher who teaches. So ensure to teach and talk to the child regarding all this. Similarly, sitting for the online classes, we find child leaning towards, moving back, not sitting, fiddling with things. So that all disturbs the active learning. So, and we also find children trying to eat during online classes. That means we have kept aside all our good habits and we have taken for granted the online classes. So request all to kindly check into this. Sit properly because your posture matters. And this is a teens where your posture, which depends, which goes on to the higher, or the way you look, your personality in the future. So try to sit straight, erect, make a comfortable position and sit to learn during online classes. and try avoid eating or doing with things. Kindly take the sessions, whatever is happening during online classes, seriously. It's not that this language, I am not so interested in math, it's not my cup of tea. No, everything is equally important. And whenever the teacher is given some instruction, kindly adhere to it. Try to do accordingly with it. Request everyone to charge your phone or whatever the device you use before the class with proper interconnection, and you have to make yourself comfortable with the workspace where you're attending the class. The ambience of the classes matter a lot. We request everyone to choose a place where there is less of movement and which disturbs the class a lot. A headset or earphone would preferably reduce the distraction and help the child to concentrate more on the class. Another thing is we do respect everyone. We do respect the parents. We need to respect when others are speaking during online classes. So give respect and take respect. Request all the participants to kindly listen when others are speaking. It should not, you have to take your turns to speak. And it's not usually seen in the high school, but parents involving during the online classes, which is not seen much in high school, but that is not a good practice. Time and again, this was earlier mentioned, never attempt to enter the teams through others' name or any other faculty's name, which is not possible, but try not to give your login credentials to anyone. That is what we request for. We request all the children to be focused during the class and avoid multitasking. We have seen that most of the children, especially in high school, they try to sit in front of the system and they do multitasking. They play games, they chat, which is not entertained. Try to sit in an isolated area with minimum distractions and listen to the class. Trying to take screenshots when the class is going on is not so good practice. But if the teacher permits, yes, you may. Otherwise, the teacher will send the notes through your assignments or WhatsApp. So if the teacher gives permission, only then take the screenshot. Otherwise, avoid taking that. It's not a good practice during virtual classes. It's also seen that we open the chat window for everyone, and at times we see the children chatting with each other. If you have known that the chat messages, whatever you are trying to text, goes to the respective teacher. So kindly avoid chatting. And if ever we see any child other than regular class hours trying to call or chat to his or her friend through Teams, kindly report it to school. And this is a humble request from us to the parents. If you find anyone chatting or calling through Teams other than the school hours, kindly let us know about it. Try not to use any offensive language, which is not seen of much, but try not to use that. So another thing is we would not, the position where the child sits time and again, try avoiding distracting people, the distracting of the background where the child is sitting towards, cupboard or such, where the parents go time and again to open it, which is not so good practice. Preferably a plain wall is good enough for the online classes. And when the child is seated, ensure the light is good and the angle of the device is also good enough so that we can monitor him regularly. So these were about the few don'ts and do's and don'ts of the online classes.